Hello, today we will cover how to integrate CVAT into your workflow. One of the core principles of the Unix philosophy is to write programs to work together. CVAT follows this philosophy as well. Here is an overview of the 4 ways you can integrate CVAT into your workflow. In CVAT, you can use the server independently of the user interface. You can build your own user interface on top of the server, or you can use the existing server directly, along with the user interface. CVAT provides several options to interact with the server, and to simplify writing your own clients. The first one is the server API itself. This option will be useful for you if you need to hack into the server, want to explore the API, or write your own solution that needs to be completely independent of other tools. For example, maybe the environment you're working in doesn't allow using other, more high-level options CVAT provides. This variant is the most low-level and the most fragile way of integration. The second is CVAT's Python SDK. This option includes 2 parts, a low-level REST API wrapper and a high-level problem-oriented interface. This option will be useful for you if you are writing your own application and want a more high-level API than writing server requests directly. The third is the command line interface. This option is useful if you want to do some automation, but you're not trying to build your own application. The fourth and last option is the user interface itself that we've seen in previous lectures. Now we'll go into each option in a little more detail. First, the server REST API. This is the basic layer for integrating with CVAT. It follows the REST API design and comes with an open API compliant schema and documentation, generated by Swagger. There are a variety of endpoints, each with their own parameters. You make the calls to the service as you need them. You can find the documentation through the link at the bottom. You can see an example of the schema on the right side of the slide. Second, the Python SDK. We provide official PyPy packages you can install with the command pip install cvat.sdk. You can find that command at the bottom right. Earlier I mentioned that the wrappers add extra functionality for developers. For the low-level wrapper, some of that functionality includes strict typing for request and response data, input and output data validation, type introspection for code editors, automatic type conversions, for example, to and from JSON, and extensive documentation. This package, including the code and documentation, is generated from the server's OpenAPI document. You can even generate your own client for a different programming language using the same approach, if Python doesn't work for you. All of this functionality helps you save time and write cleaner, safer code. The high-level API builds on the low-level wrapper and adds even more powerful functionality, including session management, config management, composite operations, server messaging protocols, and an object-oriented API for interacting with the server objects. In the same spirit as the low-level part, this functionality is included to save you time and spare you from having to write the code yourself. This API also allows you to be more independent of the server API, allowing you to focus on your tasks instead. Third, the CVAT command line tool. This provides easier access to endpoints for humans who don't want to code their own clients. Once installed, it can be used to batch and automate various operations. It offers support for a few features that aren't yet covered by the user interface, as well as more flexibility and control. At the bottom of the slide, you'll see a few arguments from the help page. You can install this tool with pip install CVAT-CLI. And fourth, the interface. The interface is primarily for user interaction. It can be used by a machine, but it is difficult. For instance, it can be tested automatically, but these tests are hard to maintain. It's also possible to implement your own user interface or extend the existing one using the existing user interface components. The user interface implementation includes several components that can be useful for you. The components are written using TypeScript. They include the CVAT core, a library for server interaction with low-level and high-level interfaces, similar to the Python SDK we discussed earlier. The other parts are the CVAT user interface components and the CVAT annotation canvas. And if you're interested in learning more, check out our documentation. Thanks for watching.